Hello, everybody. Good morning to you. For those that is morning, good evening to people that it is evening. Go ahead in the chat box and type, I am ready for a new season. Go ahead in the chat box if you can hear me loud and clear. Can you type, I am ready for a new season? All right. Thank you, Melvin. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to our young adult convention. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Go ahead, send a text to somebody you invited. Let them know we have started. Call them if you need to. This will be so good. Your life will never remain the same. Son. Get your notepad, get your pen, get ready to write. Your life will never remain the same. So, welcome to our people on YouTube and on Facebook. Good to have you with us. We are going to have a good time together. All right. This particular program is very special and very important for destiny. Very, very important. Thank you, Lord. Those who are watching on Facebook, on YouTube, go ahead and like the video, share the video. It is when you like the video, you're going to cause the algorithms to push the video to people that are supposed to be here. Give them reminders. All right, go ahead in the chat box, comment the country and the city where you're joining us from. Let us see how represented we are. Go ahead, please, in the chat box, in the comment section, and comment. Let us know which country and which city you are joining from. All right, let's see Bamenda, Cameroon, the only Abakwa in the world. All right, keep it coming. All right, Bamenda is heavily represented. I see Maryland, USA is in the building. I see Boya, Cameroon is in the building. That's good. Douala, Kumba, nice. All right. Beautiful, beautiful. 3B's in the building. Gaundere is in the building. Oh, Melvin, you're in Gaundere. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Good, good, good. All right, all right. That's so good. That's so good to see all the representations and all the cities and countries here at the moment. More people will be joining us, but we are not going to wait for them. I know that my target for this program, as I felt led, is, those who are 25 years and younger. However, I know that people who are older are here, which is totally fine. You can learn a lot and use it to live the rest of your life 10 times better than the current way you are living. All right. So that is good. So this is the one we're going to have. This is designed to be a 2 days program, but from what I've been designing and thinking and praying about it and looking at it, there is more that needs to be communicated. Okay. All right. So please make sure you have something to take notes, something to make some firm decisions as far as your life is concerned. So welcome to Young Adult Convention, which is a program by the Professionals and Entrepreneurs Fellowship International. And the target of this program is to serve the young adults in our community within the ministry that we run, because we have young people in the community who are still in the university, some who just left the university, and some who desire, or many of you who desire to do something incredible with your life. And, I started doing young adult conferences like this since 2015. And one of the things that made me to start doing that was because when I know the year, I know the season that my life started shifting, and that was in 2011 per se. And years after, before I clocked, let's say 25, 26, I had started traveling to different nations and doing some good work. And then I was like, there is something that you started doing that contributed to how your life changed. And that was one of the major reasons I started organizing youth programs. And the purpose was to start sharing my experience and sharing the things that I learned in the process. All right. And in my work as a coach, as a consultant, as a trainer, especially across the African continent, I have come across many people that I'm providing coaching to, especially in the area of career and influence and leadership. And one of the major things I discovered was that many people at the age of 40 and above, and 50 sometimes, they are trying to catch up in life, what they call midlife crisis. And I came to the realization that many people who go through certain things at certain age, there are some that is just life, but majority that I've come across are people that they did not know what to do at this particular age, which is, let me say, the age between 20 and 30. You see, this particular decade is a defining decade in your life. Between 20 years old and 30 years old is a defining decade in your life. I'm not saying you get life right. No. I'm not saying you get life perfect. No. But there are some things. That's why some people promote the concept that between the age of 20 and 30 is the age to make a lot of mistakes, but not bad mistakes. So talking about mistakes in terms of start projects and fail, start businesses and fail, do things in that light and experience the challenges, the failure. It is going to prepare you for building and consolidating your life at the later years of your life, right? And the purpose of this young adult convention, which we're calling it Mission 30, is to teach you how to develop that voice of influence, leadership, and impact before you clock 30. If you already clocked 30, of course, the things can still apply to you and you can start changing some things in your destiny. And like I always say, when you attend a program like this, you either go through entertainment or you go through transformation. So what am I saying? If after these 3 days of this particular program and nothing changes in your daily habits, daily routine, what you consume, what you focus on, the things you're doing, the projects you're starting, the character or the habits you're stopping, you were entertained, you were not transformed. Transformation happens because you get exposed to something and there is a shift in your life. So I'm going to ask you a question. Will you be entertained after 3 days or will you be transformed after 3 days? Give me feedback in the chat box. And don't be afraid to tell me that you will be entertained. Don't lie, all right? So go ahead in the chat box and tell me, will you be entertained after 3 days or will you be transformed? Let me know. It's very important. Make that decision for yourself. And another thing I always say is that one thing that knowledge should do for you is that knowledge should reduce suffering in your life and should set you free from bondage or something that is keeping you stuck in life. Anytime you get exposed to knowledge, knowledge should reduce suffering, challenges, bondage, difficulties. Why? Because anytime you know the truth has the power to set you free. Anytime light enters darkness, and darkness always represents ignorance most of the times, right? So I always say that knowledge should reduce suffering in your life and increase success in your life. All right. So if you're reading a book, you attend a program like this, you attend a seminar, the more you consume relevant knowledge, you should be able to consistently reduce your difficulties, your challenges, your sufferings, and all of that, and begin to experience the life that you were ordained to live. All right. And that is very, very important. All right. On this day one, I am handling the topic, the age of going to war for your destiny if you're 30 years or younger. The age of going to war for your destiny. The age of going to war for your destiny. And of course, if you're here, or those who are new to the community, the foundation of what we do here at Professionals and Entrepreneurs Fellowship International is the Bible, is the ways of the kingdom of God. So you're going to hear a few scriptures in this, but they cut across all areas of your life. So the age of going to war for your destiny. If you have your Bibles, please can you open to Numbers chapter 1, Numbers chapter 1, verse 1 to 3. We're going to read Numbers chapter 1, verse 1 to 3. My focus is verse 3, but for context, let us read Numbers chapter 1, verse 1 to 3. Now, this is God speaking to Moses, and Moses was leading the children of Israel from Egypt to the promised land. And guess what? Every individual has a promised land. There is a purpose, there is a destiny, there is a life-changing encounter that God has in store for you. You have your promised land. I have my promised land. All right. And For some of us, we are coming from types of families, communities, societies that it's as if you have been suffering almost all your life. Just saying, right? So that is the context. And in Numbers chapter 1, God was speaking to Moses, and the Bible says, now the Lord spoke to Moses in the wilderness. And wilderness is a metaphor in our context for season of no results, season of delays and stagnation, seasons of failures, season of basically existing and not living, right? So the Bible says, now the Lord spoke to Moses in the wilderness. There's a teaching I'm going to do, which is going to be like a spiritual teaching, which is the most important element in your wilderness season is the voice of God. Very important. All right. But just a rabbit trail. Now, the Lord spoke to Moses in the wilderness of Sinai, in the tabernacle of meeting. This scripture has so many revelations, right? On the first day of the second month, in the second year after they had come out of the land of Egypt, saying, verse 2, take a census of all the congregation of the children of Israel by their families, by their fathers, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of names, every male individually. Verse 3, that is our focus. Verse 3, from 20 years old and above. You see, this is God speaking. And when God is speaking, pay attention to the things that he's communicating, because he's the creator. He's the eternal God. He knows the human race, right? From 20 years old and above, all who are able to go to war in Israel, you and Aaron shall number them by their armies. The age of going to war for your destiny. Now, God, now remember the context. These people are going to the promised land. You and I, we have our promised land. And our promised land can mean fulfillment of destiny, going to nations, traveling countries, and living the purpose that God ordained for you. That is your promised land. You find that purpose and you begin to live that purpose to the fullness of what God ordained for you. That is your promised land. Now, God is saying, look, you guys are in the wilderness. There is a promised land that I have been telling you guys. And for you guys to enter this promised land, you are going to battle. There is a war that you are going to fight. And God was indicating clearly the age group that can fight the war of going to the promised land. And he said from 20 years old and above. So he mentioned the age, and then God said, all who are able, that word able is important. All who are able to go to war. So this verse is not just about the age. It is also talking about readiness to fulfill destiny, readiness to enter the promised land. It is also talking about taking responsibility. So if you are 20 years old and above, you have to take responsibility and contend to enter your promised land. It is also talking about capacity to wage war for destiny fulfillment. In other words, God was saying, look, if you guys don't step up and wage war, you will remain in the promised land and you remain in the wilderness and you will not enter the promised land. Why? Because on their way to the promised land, there were enemies, there were difficulties, and there were people in the promised land. You think that your destiny will just happen like that overnight? I am telling you today, If you don't use your 20s to your 30s and begin to wage war for your destiny, you can stay long in the wilderness. You can clock 40 years, 50 years, and you are still living in the wilderness. You have to wage war regarding your destiny fulfillment. Why? You see, it was the will of God for them to go to the promised land, but also it is their responsibility to wage war in order to enter the promised land. It's the same for you and for me. It is the will of God for you and I to prosper in this destiny. It is the will of God for you and I to live the fullness of our prophetic destinies as young people. But you see, responsibility is for you and I. God created the destiny. God created you and I, but it is our responsibility to partner with God and wage the war for destiny fulfillment. So what am I saying? If you are listening to me, you are a young adult, you are between 18 and 30, 20 and 30, that particular age group, but those who are older, it includes you if you're here. You have to begin to understand that that particular age is the age for you to wage war for your destiny. And if you don't wage war for your destiny, do you know if you read the story of the Israelites in the wilderness, many people died in the wilderness. So you can grow old and die suffering and not living the fullness of your destiny because there are some things you did not do as per the expectations of God concerning your prophetic destiny. So what will it be for you? See, the age you are in, the age we are in, is not the age to be comfortable. Unfortunately, society has designed the concept that when you're between 18 and 30, is the age to have fun. It's the age to go clubbing and things like that. Then when you are at a particular age, you can start being serious. If you are living that lie, you're going to extend your stay in the wilderness. The age between 18 and 30 is the age to go to war for your destiny. It's not the age for comfort. It's not the age for clubbing. It's not the age for party. It's not the age to be on social media aimlessly. It's the age to go to battle for destiny. If you are between the age of 18 and 30 right now on this call, write in the chat box, from today, it is battle after battle. Write in the chat box, from today, it is battle after battle. I'm telling you, if you are going to enter rest in your 40s, in your 50s, you see, I like to interview people. I like to ask questions. I have heard things. I have seen things that sometimes some humble me, some challenge me, some make me worried about my own future. Sometimes I'm telling you, you see, and the concept of going to war here is not talking about violence. I'm sure you know I'm using a metaphor here, right? The concept of war here, I'm talking about you to contest for your outcomes, contest for your promised land. God created the promised land. God prepared the promised land for these guys, but they had to contest to experience the promised land. You and I, we have to contest to experience the promised land. Listen to me, young adults. Life is a battlefield. And there are some battles. See, I'm telling you, there are some battles that if you don't win early, you may go through some things in your later ages of life that you will not like it. You have to win some battles early. For example, like the battle of identity, you have to win that battle. You have to know who you are. The battle of self-awareness, the battle of identity in Christ, you have to win that battle. Number two, you have to win the battle of time. If you are struggling with time management, you have to treat it the same way you treat a demon, because time is your life. Show me how you manage your time. I will show you how you're managing your life. You're in your early 20s and you can spend 4 hours watching movies, 5 hours on social media. If we get your phone right now and check your screen time, we're going to see 5 hours, 6 hours on social media. You have to win the battle of time. And in this dispensation, the business expert, we call it the perception economy. The longer you stay on your screen, the more some people become billionaires. So you have to win the battle for attention. Anybody in this time and season who is getting your attention is either destroying you or making you. You have to win the battle for your attention. Who is getting access to your eyeballs? Who is getting access to what you hear? You have to win the battle of attention. You have to win the battle of skill. See, when you're 30 and above, you need to focus on what I call upskilling and reskilling. From your 18 years and 30 years, focus on developing skills. Build a strong foundation with the right skill set. You have to win the battle of skill development. You have to win the battle of self-discipline. You have to win the battle of self-discipline, self-control. A simple battle as you tell yourself, you know what, I will not touch my phone for the next 5 hours. You drop it and you discipline yourself and you don't touch it. You have to win that battle. You have to win that battle. You have to win the battle of economic leverage. Begin to understand how the economy works. Begin to study and begin to grow in that light. You have to win. This is a Christian community, so I will talk about spiritual authority. You have to win the battle of spiritual authority, the battle of spiritual intelligence. The world is too spiritual for you to be lazy spiritually. You have to win that battle. You have to win that battle. So you see that between 20 and 30 is not the age of fun. It's not the age of partying. It's not the age of comfort. Am I saying that those things cannot be in your life? They can be in your life, but they're in your life with wisdom. They're in your life with understanding. They're in your life with discernment. They're in your life with discretion. You know where to put them and you know where to set the boundaries. Because there are some battles, I am telling you people, there are some battles that if you don't win today, there are some things that you're going to struggle with later on in your life that you are not supposed to be worried about those things. You have to pay the price and go to war today. You have to go to war. You have to go to battle. You see, because when you read that Numbers chapter 1, verse 3, you will see that at 20 or 20 plus, because God said, select people who are 20 and above. So when I read that, what I see is that at 20, God assumes, listen to me carefully, at 20 and above, God assumes that you are no longer an average person. Because if 20 is mentioned and war is mentioned, because war is life and death. War is life and death. And you have to get that right. You have to get life, that war is life and death. So if God is saying, hey, get people who are 20 and above so they can go to war, it means that there is an understanding that God has about 20 plus. So God assumes that, look, at 20 plus, you are no longer an average person, or you are not supposed to be thinking like a child. You're not supposed to be thinking like a dependent person. You're supposed to be thinking like a soldier, a combatant, like a Cameroonian would say. You see? And you have to begin to understand that. So from that particular scripture, at the age of, 20 plus, you have to have two major mindsets from this scripture. Number one is the mindset of going to war for your destiny. Because God said, get these people who are 20 years old and above, who are able to go to war in Israel. So at the age of 20, you have 20 plus and above and beyond, older, even 40, 50, 60, you have to have the mindset of going to war for your destiny. Because there was the promised land on the other side, and there were enemies that were fighting or will stop them from advancing to the promised land. You see that? And the mindset of going to war is the mindset of also understanding that the option of retreating is not there for you. Because if you retreat, your only option is to go back to Egypt or to the wilderness. That's one thing with the mindset of going to war for your destiny. You cannot have the option of going backward. Because if you go backward, you're going back to two places, Egypt or the wilderness, which is bondage and suffering. So that's why, let's say as a young person, you cannot get a book to read and you allow a movie to distract you. That is retreating. And when you're retreating back to a life of suffering, a life of limited potential, a life of failure, basically. So if you're going to go to war, you and I, we have to remove the option of retreating. If I embark on a program, is it a first degree, MBA, PhD? I don't know, anything that is critical for your promised land to manifest, when you embark on it, you have to pay the price to finish it. Because if you retreat, you're going back to the wilderness or to Egypt. You're going back to bondage or to suffering. You see, because I'm saying this because most young people fail. You see, I have spoken to thousands of young people in my life. Right? There was a time in Cameroon where I was one of the most highly sought after youth speakers. I would speak like there was a year I spoke in over 350 events in 1 year across the continent. So I have spoken to thousands of young people. So one-on-one, publicly, many times. So to some extent, I know how sometimes an average young person can begin to think. So here's what I'm saying. Most young people fail or struggle to begin to live the fullness of what God had in store for them, not because they lack talent. Oh, I have seen dangerously talented young people. My goodness. Very brilliant guys. Age of 18, 20, brilliant. Young lady, brilliant. And then unwanted pregnancy enters that brilliance and distort it. Somebody who was a potential engineer, potential doctor, but all of a sudden, something breaks. So you see, many people fail or struggle to live the fullness of their prophetic destiny, not because they lack talent. No. You see, one major challenge is many people don't have the mindset that at this particular age, I have to go to war for my destiny. And when you're going to war, there are some things you cannot entertain. There are some things that you cannot entertain. It's very important. There are some things that you cannot use as escape route. If your mind still holds so many escape routes, you're going to struggle to live the fullness of your prophetic destiny. You are doing something serious. Let me tell you, I was talking to a young lady and I said, look, at this particular age, I was telling her that, look, if you are reading a book, let's say according to your timetable, according to your schedule, you plan that you're going to read from, let's say, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. And if you make up that schedule and a friend invites you to go out and hang out and drink or just chat, or somebody says, oh, come, let's watch this new movie that just came out, or somebody calls, or somebody says, oh, check this social media post by this person. If things like that can affect what you decided to do, which is important for your destiny, your mind still holds what I call escape route. And you see, that's one major reason that even talented young people struggle to live the fullness of their destiny. Because in their minds, there are still ways that they can escape that seriousness, that moment of commitment, and do things that are not critical. You see, one thing I like to do is I like to read biographies, stories, and research about elite thinkers and doers in various generations. Sometimes I'll go like 300 years backward. Who are those that made names in their time? What did they know? What did they do? How were they thinking? Right? So when you study elite thinkers, when you study doers in their generation, you will notice something. Let me put it this way. Many of them notice, many of them see distraction and giving up to be socially, mentally, and spiritually acceptable. Let me say it again. Many doers and thinkers in their generation, they see distractions, they see giving up to be socially unacceptable, to be mentally unacceptable, to be spiritually unacceptable. What am I saying? If we as young people are going to make a mark, be people of impact and influence, there are some things that we have to establish in our lives to be socially unacceptable, mentally unacceptable, and spiritually unacceptable. Personally, for me, you see, I love to read. I love to just understand things. My study time is very important. My morning routine and my evening routine, they're very important to me. There are some things that if I don't do in a day, they are mentally, socially, and spiritually unacceptable to me. Right? There are routines I have maintained every day since 2012. Some since 2016, because the man was growing, the man was adding routines and habits that are critical for where I was going to. Will there be challenges? Of course. Will there be difficulties? Yes. Will there be, failures? They will happen. But let me tell you something. There are some things that when they are rooted in your life, whatever life throws at you, you will stand, you will rise again, you will go again, and you're going to win. Because you are living according to the law of sowing and reaping, the law of seed time and harvest time. What you sow into your life and into the world, you're going to harvest someday. You're going to harvest it someday. There's somebody saying, sometimes when I teach like this, somebody's like, how do you say all these things? You see, I've been sowing for years. I read a lot consistently. So there's always something I have to say. I've tried projects I have failed many times. I read, I do, I live, I fail. I just doing things. So it's years of sowing something, and the more I keep sowing on a daily basis, 40 years from now, 30 years from now, 10 years from now, it will only get better and better. Why? It's the law of sowing and reaping. So if you're going to be a young person that will begin to live the fullness of what God has ordained for you, you have to have this mindset of going to war for your destiny. And when you're a soldier in battle, some things are military unacceptable, because there are some mistakes that if you make in the battlefield, your life will be at stake, and the life of your team members will also be at stake. So you have to have this war mindset shift. Stop trying life. You don't live twice, you live once. Stop trying life. Stop living as if you have a second life coming. This is the only life you and I have. So the war mindset shift is I stop trying life and I start advancing in this battle of destiny. The second word in that Numbers chapter 1, verse 3 is the word able. So at the age of 20, you have to 20 plus and above, you have to have the mindset of going to war for your destiny, contest for your promised land. Number two, develop ability to fight the war of your life. God mentioned the years and ability. Very important. So the years talks about begin to make good use of your time. You don't have that much time. Then he spoke about ability. That scripture says, all who are able to go to war in Israel, all who are able to contest for the promised land. You need to be, let me tell you something. Like I said earlier on, my belief is that when between the age of 18, 20 and above, between 30, one of the most important things to do within that particular decade is to pay the price and be grounded in certain levels of capacity, skills. From 30 and above, you just need to create a system around you that can enable you to relearn, unlearn, upskill, and reskill. Because a soldier going to war without ability to fight, that soldier will not last more than 10 minutes in that battle. They will be killed. You cannot go to war without ability. You see, you have to pay the price. And not just any kind of ability or skills, you have to begin to develop what I call rare combinations of skill. You have to begin to pay the price to avoid being average in what you do. Begin to develop a rare combination of certain set of skills and knowledge in what you do. You see, we are in a generation, and this is still very prevalent in Africa. In North America, especially in the US, it's not that prevalent, but in Africa, it's very prevalent, where people start their credentials. People, because you have a master's degree or two master's degree and a doctorate degree doesn't mean that you're skillful. Average people start credentials. But if you're going to be an elite in what you do, one thing you're going to understand with performers is that they start capabilities that compound over time. If you have picked an industry, you have picked a sector, you understand your purpose. This is what God has called me to do, and you are waging the war of destiny in that path of life. You have to begin to pay the price to compound capabilities, skills, and knowledge, because you need those things to win the war. That's why I always say that those who are going to win in life They don't ask, what can I do? Right? You need to begin to push yourself to the level of asking questions like, what combination of skills and knowledge do I need to gather that is going to make me very valuable in my industry and to the people I am called to serve? You see that? So, for example, let's say somebody's listening to me right now. It's a young adult convention and you are 20 years old. If you already know your industry or industries, there's something, a concept we talk about in the skills development sector known as industry stacking, right? Years ago, let's say 50 years ago, 70 years ago, 100 years ago, you could be good only in one industry and still succeed. But the way the society is right now and the way the economy is right now, you need to practice what I call industry stacking, industry combination. If you're passionate about being a medical doctor, all right, as you're studying that, you cannot only do that and survive in this generation. You have to look at, all right, based on what your purpose is, which other industries do I need to add to my primary industry so that I can be very, very valuable in what I'm doing? That's why some medical doctors are getting into technology to practice telemedicine. So medical doctors are getting into medical financing. You see that? So medical doctors are getting into education to know how to create curriculum for the medical sector, things like that. Right. So you need to begin to find, if you're understudying one industry, you are already limiting yourself. And that's why you see that you don't have that much time when you're 20 years old, 25 years old. There is so much you need to begin to invest in and lay the right foundation. As you're doing that, you need to begin to identify the core skills that you need to be good at in those industries. And then you begin to spend 3 to 4 to 5 years to become competent. I did not say perfect. Your job is to pursue the path of being more competent day in, day out. You see, because that one mindset shift is every day I am becoming more strategically competent in my industry. And that is what makes you a soldier who is going to win in destiny. So you have to wage that particular war. I just believe that one of my major heart posture in this day one for this convention is to challenge. It may not be for everybody, but just one person who you have been too average, you have been too comfortable, too lazy, you have been doing everything that everybody else around you is doing, hoping that someday life will happen to you. You are dreaming. That happens in movies, not in real life. Life happens to people that are sowing into life, then life gives back to them. It's a law established by God. If this is what I'm talking to you today, and there's a shift you are going to make from today, type in the chat box in the comment section, not anymore. That means there are some things that you're going to change your life after today because you thought that you had so much time. You thought that this life was, oh, at this my age, let me just have fun, watch all the movies, go all the clubbing, do all the drinking and all of that. No, that's not for you. Am I saying that you should not do entertainment? Please create, as I said, do it with discretion. Do it with wisdom. Do it with understanding that you are a man on purpose. You are a man on vision. Okay? And one thing I want to talk about, this waging war for your destiny, is that You see, when you begin to study, one of my favorite movies to watch is, war-driven movies, intelligence movies, and those are the only movies I watch. I don't watch any other brand of movie. Military, intelligence-driven, all of that, right? So you see, and I read a lot about military and how they train their military people. And one of the most important things that they teach in military is how to convert pain into your advantage. Any form of pain that you find yourself in as a soldier, especially elite soldiers, they train them how to convert pain into their advantage. Why am I saying this? Because in the battlefield, you will experience pain, especially guys and ladies, younger people here. Your girlfriend will break your heart. Your boyfriend is going to dump you, maybe for a prettier girl, right? Guys, a lady is going to dump you for a guy who has much money and more influence than you and more swag than you, right? Those are basic things that are going to happen to you in the journey of life. But you see, for some people, pain is a disadvantage to them. For some people, pain is an advantage to them. So I was reading a military book, and this general said something powerful. He said, the battlefield always reward those who convert pain into advantage. I was like, what did you just say? I read that statement like 200 times. The battlefield always reward those who convert pain into their advantage. Maybe I'm talking to a 21-year-old right now, a 25-year-old right now. At this particular moment, there is pain in your heart. There is hurt in your heart because of what somebody did to you or something happened. You are in the battlefield of life. And if you want that particular battlefield to reward you, pay the price to convert that pain into your advantage. Is it easy? Of course not. And that's why I said that you have to win the battle of self-discipline. You have to win the battle of emotional intelligence. Your emotions cannot constantly dictate how you see things, how you live, how you do things. They break your heart. You now lock yourself inside the room. You're not doing anything for days and for days. Your emotions are in charge of you, no longer reasoning. And that pain is taking advantage of you instead of you taking advantage of pain. You see that? And an average person, I'm using this military concept because we're using Numbers chapter 1, verse 3, and God said, get people from 20 years old and above, all who are able to go to war in Israel. And why were they going to war? So that they could contest for the promised land and enter their prophetic destiny. So you and I, we have to contest in this battlefield of life to begin to live our prophetic destinies. So an average person tries to escape discomfort. But you see, soldiers are trained to extract intelligence from discomfort. An average person tries to escape from pain. But the soldier is trained to know that, look, as you go to this battle, things are going to happen to you. You are going to face discomfort, pain, and there is a high chance that you are going to die. But they train them, instead of escaping the discomfort, crying and murmuring and complaining, they train them on how to convert that pain into advantage, how to convert that discomfort into intelligence. What can you extract from that discomfort. Somebody betrayed you. Somebody, ended a relationship. You failed in an exam. You applied for a job, you are rejected. All right. That is discomfort. That is pain. Okay, how can you convert that into your advantage? How can you begin to extract intelligence from that to become a better soldier as you wage war for your destiny? Like I always say, for those who are mentees, if the mentees are here, I always say that pain and discomfort in your life is a signal. Let me say it again. Anytime you're going through pain, it is a signal. And this mindset will change your life forever if you begin to live like that. Anytime there's discomfort in my life, anytime there's pain in my life, I'm not focusing on allowing the pain to make me sad or be in discomfort. I really understand that anytime there is pain, discomfort, there is a signal that I need to pick. Pain is either signaling growth. It is time to grow. You got into that pain because you were too comfortable. Pain can also signal resistance. Something is resisting you, and you have to resist it back and stop it. Pain can also signal misalignment. You are not aligned. If you wear your shoes and let's say sandals, and part of your feet is not on the sandals, rocks or stones or whatever is going to pierce your feet. That's misalignment. You're going to experience some pain because your shoes are not in alignment with the sandals that you're wearing. So anytime you're going through pain, a wise person will not complain, murmur, and cry about the pain or the discomfort. You ask the question, what is this pain signaling to me? It makes you to grow faster. It makes you to grow faster. You see, there was a time that I got a consulting contract and I was supposed to make some good money from it. But a few weeks after, it was taken away from me because they thought I was not doing a good job, right? And that was pain because I lost money as a business person. But you see, that pain, that particular incident made me, I never experienced that again. It was like, you need to grow. There's something you don't know yet about business. You need to grow. So it communicated growth or misalignment. So instead of saying people are wicked or they are this or they are that, what is this rejection? What is this pain signaling to me in this particular age in life? You cannot constantly run away from pain. That's why, let's say you're 25 years old right now. You are a 20-year-old right now, and you're going through something right now. You see, an average person, when they're going through pain, discomfort, and many of us here are, Christian because this is a Christian community. We put everything, as an attack from the enemy. I call it spiritual laziness. Not everything is an attack. Sometimes it's just how you live your life that those things are happening to you. Nobody's fighting you from the spiritual realm. You see. So if you understand what I'm saying, as a 20-year-old, as a 30-year-old, as a 25-year-old, when something happens to you, you stop asking. An average person will ask, we say things like, oh, why is this happening to me? Okay, it should happen to who now? Who should it happen to except they're just a wicked person? So you prefer the pain to happen to somebody else and not you, right? So you need to, there are some things that when you know about life, you will not say things like, why is this happening to me? Sometimes the right question to ask is, what is this training me to survive? What is the intelligence I can extract from this season? What is the advantage I can get from this particular season? You see that? You see, there was a particular season in my life that for a few months, I was not very busy as I was normally busy. So I was literally mostly indoors and all of that. So instead of complaining about what was going on, I studied. It was that particular season that for the first time, I read the entire Bible in 28 days. I was reading on average 40 chapters a day. And I was reading like 3 books that season also. I would spend like 9 hours just studying. And the things I also learned that season, mind-blowing things. So I converted that season into my advantage. It's the same thing that happened during COVID because I was not traveling as I normally travel and speaking in conferences. So I was literally sometimes I would stay like, there was a time I stayed like 3 months. I did not see my door. I was ordering things that would come and deliver on my door. And that was it. I was not seeing outside 3 months. I read, I studied, I wrote books. I still have manuscripts of about 5 books I've not published that I wrote in 2020 in that season. So I either had to complain, oh, why is this COVID happening? Oh, I'm not making money as I normally make money. All of that. But how can I convert this season into my advantage? I have written some of the best things when I'm sick. So instead of complaining of why am I sick? Why am I going through this pain? I listen to audiobooks. If I cannot read very well, I'll be listening to audiobooks. I must convert whatever the pain is into my advantage. That pain cannot win. You have to pay the price to do that. You see, so you have to have this because as a soldier, you see, I was reading a military book and they said that as a soldier must not see pressure as punishment. A soldier sees pressure as preparation. And I want to challenge you and I, let us have that mindset shift, that war mindset shift. Pressure is not punishment. Oh, I am just suffering. Why am I suffering like this? If you have that kind of mindset and live like that, you are not going to get the best out of life because you're constantly complaining. You see everything as suffering, as punishment. You don't take advantage of it and begin to prepare yourself for the fullness of your prophetic destiny manifestation. If you're going through a challenging season right now in any area of your life, write in the chat box, I am being prepared. Write in the chat box, I am being prepared. Write in the comment section, I am being prepared. I am telling you, if we go through the curriculum I have prepared for this young adult convention, you will live the next 10 years of your life in ways that even you did not imagine. All right. Now, as I begin to wind up this, talking about war, I just have to talk about this. It's coming to mind right now. You know, in this current dispensation, the real war that you and I are fighting, especially people in our current age group, those, let's say, let me just say 50 years and younger, but even those who are older, the real war we are fighting right now is not the war of money. The real war right now is who controls your ideas, your time, and your attention. We are in the warfare of ideologies, attention, and time. Anybody who controls your ideologies, who controls what you do with your time, who controls what you give your attention to, that person is either destroying you or making you. There are some people right now suffering because of the wrong ideologies that they have, because they consume the wrong body of knowledge. You have to protect what you consume as ideologies. That's the real war. You have to protect your time. You have to protect what takes your attention. You see, most young people right now, they are losing the war of destiny right now. And many of you are listening to me right now. There is somebody you are hearing me right now. You are currently losing the war of destiny. You know why? Because number one, basic things. Number one, your mornings are unrestructured. You see, your morning is one of the most important, periods of your day. If your morning is not structured into something transformational and relevant for destiny, you are losing the war of destiny. Number two, your focus is fragmented. If somebody comes to your life now, serious somebody, and they say, I have 10 million francs for you, 10 million naira for you, 10 million shillings for you. You just need to convince me that you have something you're going to focus on for the next 10 years and give proof of documentations, give proof of, paperwork, things that you just write randomly. Let them see that you really think about things. Many of you cannot provide it. Because a focused person will have paperwork. You have a book that you're writing ideas. You have concept notes. You're going to have things that you're just trying to document based on what you're feeling led to do in life. You will not have it. Why? Because your focus is fragmented. You're everywhere. Your attention is fragmented. You don't have a concept that you're building as an expert in the industry that you want to lead in. So many young people are already losing the war of destiny even before they reach the age of fully manifesting destiny. That needs to change. That needs to change. Basic things that you can start doing if you're going to wage the war for your destiny and win. Simple things. Number one, begin to design some non-negotiable routines in your life. Begin to design some non-negotiable routines in your life. I have routines that I've done every day for almost 17 years. Like always read for a particular number of time every day. Always write something. Minimum of 200 words every day. Just write it. Just put your thoughts together about something. It makes you better. It increases how articulate you can be. It increases your critical thinking and problem solving. It increases how you see patterns, how you look at life. You see, a non-negotiable, right? You know what? When I get up from bed, I am not getting on social media. I only get on social media if I must, in some cases, after 8 a.m., if I must. Then my day most of the time starts at 4 a.m. So create a system to protect your mornings, even protect your evenings. Some things to apply is most of us, we need to eliminate low leverage relationships. There are some people in your life that you have to part ways with. I'm telling you. One of the things I did in 2012 was I parted ways with many friends that we grew up together. Most Cameroonians should know that alcohol is a big thing, right? It's like a religion. It's like a cult. It's like if you're not drinking alcohol, instead, it's as if you're not normal. It's as if, are you okay? So you are saying if you are drinking alcohol, right? So, and I had to part ways because I said, guys, I cannot do this again, right? So some things you have to make decisions to change that. You have to wake up earlier than your environment, than every other person. You have to reduce social noise around you. Be careful of what you see and what you hear. It forms you, it conforms you. Anytime you see and hear something, that thing is either conforming you to live destiny or conforming you to fail in destiny. As simple as that. Be careful. What you be careful. Be careful of social noise. Be careful of what you consume, what you see, and what you hear. It is either conforming you to fulfill destiny or conforming you to fail in destiny. Treat time, treat your attention like capital. It's very, very important. Because if you are going to wage war and enter your promised land, you have to be a soldier who is able to do this. You have to do that. All right. That's why I was talking to my mentees one time and I spoke to them about law, intelligence, and defense. Like I said, I love to watch military and intelligence movies, right? And I was telling them that, look, if you're going to consistently rise in life, you must have laws, intelligence, and defense in your life. What does that mean? Laws means that establish important principles you live by. As a young man, as a young lady, establish principles that you live by. And those principles, those laws are very important to you. And I said intelligence. Intelligence talks about self-awareness. Know who you are. Begin to understand your purpose, your destiny. Begin to understand who you are in Christ. Begin to understand how you have to partner with God to live the life He has ordained for you to live. Number 3, defense. We're talking about self-discipline, self-control. If you don't know how to discipline yourself, you're going to get into situations that will destroy your life. Many young ladies have gotten into unwanted pregnancy because they lack no defense, no self-discipline, no self-control. Same for guys. You see, I have my own share of things I got into because at the earlier on, I didn't know these things. See, so check your life. Law, intelligence, defense. I told this from Nigeria, from non-Nigeria, American government structure. They don't joke with laws, intelligence, and defense, right? So I said, oh, that's something to create around my life too. All right. So work on those things. Don't live under what I call emotional democracy. You live life based on how you feel. You're gonna blunder big time. When you feel like reading, you now read. When you feel like watching a movie, you now watch a movie. You only do things the way you feel. You're a moving bomb about to explode. And no human being who has done things according to emotions has ever succeeded. When you feel like sleeping, you sleep. Anytime you feel like doing anything, you just do it. I call it emotional democracy, right? So where your emotions is winning, that's what you're doing. You feel like sleeping the whole day, just sleep the whole day. You feel like being on social media the whole day, you be on social media the whole day. You feel like watching movie the whole day, that's what you do. You feel like going party after party, that's what you do. Oh, you are a moving time bomb as a young person. So you need to, going back to law, defense, and intelligence. As a young person, listen to me carefully. If you're going to win this war we're talking about, you need to define some non-negotiable personal laws. I'm telling you, define some non-negotiable personal laws. Number 2, stop renegotiating your daily discipline. Stop renegotiating your daily discipline. If you want to start waking up at 5 a.m. every day and study and pray for 1 hour, establish it and stop allowing sleep to make you renegotiate that daily discipline. Stop doing that. Under self-discipline, under intelligence, talking about self-awareness, begin to lead yourself before seeking influence. Stop seeking influence when you are not leading yourself. Intelligence talks about self-awareness, self-leadership. You know who you are. You're building character. Remember, it's not about perfection. It's about consistent development. Lastly, talking about war, please, There's something in military, they call it long war mentality. Long war mentality. Why is this important to you and I? Life is not a sprint. You are still 20 years old. You are still 25 years old. You still have about 80 years ahead of you. Probably, if you live well, you eat well, you take care of yourself, right? So that's why, as a young girl, as a young guy, you cannot just, you know, live life anyhow, do things anyhow, as if your life ends next year. Please, long war mentality. Life is not a sprint. You still have 50, 70, 80 years ahead of you. Life is a decade campaign. You campaign for decades. Most young people are burning out because they expect some result early. Please be careful of expecting early rewards. You're feeling disappointed and feeling burned out because you don't have a car at 25. Most have a car at 25. You don't have a house at 25. Meanwhile, the things you're supposed to get right at 25, you don't have them right yet. Be careful of expecting early reward with poor sowing or planting in your life. You see, learn to plan in decades. Learn to plan in 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Think long term. Have that long war mentality. And when you begin to think long term, you will stop comparing timelines. There are some of you, you are comparing your life with somebody who started 10 years earlier than you, doing what you want to do. You may be in the same age group, but they started doing some things early before you. Now you're comparing yourself with them. Stop comparing timelines. You don't know where they started. Another important thing for any young person to be comfortable with, please, please be comfortable in being unknown so you can focus with purpose. Be comfortable of obscurity so you can focus on your purpose. Be comfortable with that. And that's why I was telling a young guy, I said, look, at this your age, measure your progress by your capability, not by what you have. Many times, you're 20, you're 21, you're younger than 25. You're trying to measure your progress by, the material things you are able to amass. You're getting life wrong. And that's why many people are feeling burnt out. They have jealousy, envy, and bitterness. There's an age you get into, and this is the age we're talking about, between, let's say, 18 and 30. Many a times, your progress is about capability. Measure progress by your capability, by your development, by your skill set. Because there are some capabilities in your life that when you have, material things will come into your life. They run after you. They will run after you. They will run after you. Why? Because there is a capability that when you progress in, those things will run into your life. You will attract those things. And that's what it is. If you are going to win this battle at within this particular age group, you have to pay the price. Pay the price to progress in capability. Pay the price. Begin to practice, what I call strategic learning, innovative learning curriculum created around you. Do not accumulate knowledge randomly. No, begin to learn according to your purpose, your destiny. Begin to learn according to the problems and the projects you want to achieve. I call it just-in-time learning. I bought it from accounting, right? I did accounting. So don't accumulate knowledge randomly. You don't have that much time. Begin to learn in response to your purpose. in response to your destiny, in response to the problems you want to solve, in response to the projects you want to achieve. In other words, begin to tie every learning to a project, to your destiny. I don't just learn anyhow. When I'm reading a book, I'm watching a video, I'm listening to an audio, whatever I'm doing, I guarantee you, if you ask me, why are you doing this? I'm going to link it to my purpose, destiny, a project, a problem. I don't just accumulate knowledge random. That's why you cannot be a fan of consuming, social media content anyhow, because that is accumulating knowledge randomly. You see, there's an age when you get to that. If knowledge has no immediate use, don't learn it. It's not important for you. You begin to learn with urgency. For many of us right now, we need to replace daily scrolling with deliberate study times and learn things that are critical for you. You see, so if you must win this war, there's something in military known as victory-only mindset. There is something in military known as victory-only mindset. Now, why do they promote that mindset? Because when you're in a battlefield, you can die at any time. And if you're in the battlefield and you have not made up your mind that the only option I have is to win, somebody's going to take you out. You don't go to war with being double-minded. No, you're going to war, make sure your objective is to win. And victory only mindset, victory first mindset, accepts pain upfront. So as I'm going to this war, I don't care the pain I go through. I don't care the discomfort and the troubles and the difficulties. I have only one option in this battle. I am winning. Soldiers are trained to accept pain upfront. They anticipate pain. They anticipate bullet wounds. They anticipate being stabbed with a knife. They anticipate all these things and they accept it. I am ready for this pain, and this pain will not stop me. I'm going to win this war. And this enables you to cause excuses to disappear. See, when I see people giving some kind of excuses, I already know their mindset. This one is still, they don't know what they're doing yet. A life full of excuses, there are things that they don't yet understand. But if you see a guy, you see a lady with disciplined action, high-level execution of what they're doing, they have replaced emotions with execution. Emotions don't determine what they do in life. There's something they have understood. They're warrior. They have a warrior mindset. Why? Because warriors decide outcomes first. What is the outcome? I am winning. And when you decide the outcomes of your life, what do? You align your thoughts, your time, your skills, your energy to achieving that outcome. You see that? And I see when you come to a place in your journey in life where losing is unacceptable, failing in destiny is unacceptable, living below your potential is unacceptable. When you come to that level of understanding and revelation and discernment, I am telling you, preparation will intensify. The way you prepare for life, the way you build capacity, you're going to prepare and build capacity to the extent that being average, to the extent that complacency becomes offensive to you, to the extent that when you don't do some things in a particular day, you begin to feel disappointed about yourself. I'm not saying you should get into condemnation, no. But there's a way you value preparation and what you're doing, because you understand that failing in this world is unacceptable. Failing in this life is unacceptable. Dying in the wilderness and not entering my promised land is unacceptable. When you come to that level of understanding and discernment, the way you're going to prepare for this life, the way you're going to invest in this destiny, when somebody sees you, hear the way you talk and how you face life, they will know this one cannot fail. It doesn't matter what life throws at you, you are going to win. So, where the mindset that rejects victimhood, embrace agency, embrace initiative, assume responsibility for the right outcome of your life. Make up your mind. If you are in the wilderness right now, make up your mind. I'm going to wage war and I'm going to enter and manifest the fullness of my promised land that God has ordained for me. I believe that day one was a blessing to you. Were you blessed? Did this challenge you? If just one person is shifted forever in this day one, day one is achieved. But I want you to leave here with some hunger, leave here with a strong decision that there's something better and I am at war. If you have made up your mind from today that you are at war, type I am at war in the chat box. If this challenge you to have that total shift of heart and mind, and you now know clearly, I am at war, type I am at war in the chat box. All right, I have a few warriors with me. All right, let's go to war together, people. Let's go to war together. I am at war, you are at war, and we have to win this fight. That is it for today, everybody. Tomorrow, same time, that's 4 a.m. GMT plus 1 for those who are in Europe and Africa, and of course, 9 p.m. Central Time for those in North America, or 10 p.m. Eastern Time for those in North America. All right, people. God bless you. Take care of yourselves. Invite a friend, invite a sibling to be here tomorrow. Get it live. All right, don't miss it. Get it live, and your life will never remain the same. As time, if on the third day, I will likely give room for questions and answers. All right, I will create a form. You can type your answer in it so that I can respond to them to avoid, disorder, and of course to make good use of time. Please see you tomorrow same time. Don't be late, and let us